Have you ever thought about how the impossible can become possible for you? What if everything you called impossible was just something waiting for your first attempt? There is a word we carry like a sentence, impossible. It appears in our thoughts before we can even test the limits of what we are capable of. It works like a locked gate we never tried to open, assuming that someone somewhere has already proven there is no way out. But here is the uncomfortable and liberating truth. The impossible is not a characteristic of things. It is merely a temporary description of our relationship with them. It is the name we give to what we do not yet understand, to what we have not yet mastered, to what we have not yet dared to do. And the history of humanity is a long collection of impossibles that have become routine. Think about the dreams you have tucked away in the drawer of the impossible. That project, that difficult conversation, that life change that seems too big. How many times have you observed them from a distance, convinced they were meant for other people with other skills in other circumstances? The impossible gains power not because it is real, but because we agree to believe in it. It feeds on our excuses, grows with our fears, and strengthens every time we choose the comfort zone over the unknown. But there is something it cannot withstand, the first attempt. Because the moment you act, even timidly, the impossible loses its spell and reveals its true nature. It is not an invincible giant. It is simply a challenge awaiting a response. Every great human achievement began with someone looking at the impossible and whispering, "What if? What if we could fly? What if darkness were not eternal? What if this disease had a cure?" These questions were ridiculed, considered the delusions of minds disconnected from reality. But there was something in those people that set them apart. They did not ask the impossible for permission. They simply began. They tested, failed, adjusted, and tried again. Santos Dumont's airplane was not born ready. It was born out of hundreds of attempts considered foolish. Edison's light bulb did not light up on the first try. It lit up after thousands of failed experiments. What looks like magic is, in truth, stubbornness disguised as hope. The secret lies in understanding that you do not need to conquer the impossible all at once. No one scales a mountain in a single leap. The impossible surrenders to the accumulation of small victories, of modest attempts that add up in silence. Every step taken is a negotiation with what once seemed unattainable. And here lies the beauty of the process. You do not need to have all the answers before you begin. You only need enough courage to take the first step in the dark, trusting that the path will reveal itself as you move forward. Clarity does not precede action, it is the result of it. The more you try, the more the impossible becomes familiar, manageable, possible. Look back and notice how many times you have already turned personal impossibles into ordinary memories. That presentation that terrified you. That conversation you postponed 1,000 times. That goal that seemed too far away. You faced them, perhaps trembling, perhaps uncertain, but you faced them. And now they are part of your story, not as invincible monsters, but as chapters of overcoming. This proves something fundamental. You carry within yourself the ability to reframe the impossible. Not because you are special or different, but because you are human. And humans possess this extraordinary trait of turning the unimaginable into the everyday, as long as they do not give up before the first attempt. So today, choose one impossible, just one. It does not have to be the biggest, can be the smallest. And take one step, not a heroic leap, just one movement in its direction. Research, plan, talk, write, begin. Do something today that you had not yet done yesterday. Because the difference between the possible and the impossible does not lie in external circumstances, it lies in your willingness to try. The impossible is waiting for you, not with hostility but with curiosity, wondering whether you will be one more person who accepted their limits or one more who decided to redraw them. In the end, the impossible is simply the guardian that protects the most extraordinary versions of ourselves. It exists not to stop us, but to ensure that only those who truly want it will make it there. And when you walk through that gate, you discover that on the other side there is no magic, there is a great deal of work. There is no genius, there is persistence. There is no luck, there is attempt after attempt. Now it is your turn. What will you do to overcome the limits of the impossible in your life? Did you enjoy these reflections? Share this video with someone who needs an extra push today, and subscribe to the channel for more motivational content. Thank you so much for joining me until here, and never forget, the impossible is simply what has not yet been attempted. Believe in yourself and move toward your greatest dreams and goals, because the impossible always bows before those who dare to turn it into the next chapter of their story.